welcome to the Everyday Board Game Podcast with your hosts, Daniel.
And Daniel.
Now, Daniel, here's the thing, right? Listeners of the podcast, if you listen to last week's episode, you'll know that we're doing a back-to-back. And we got a great raid, which, again, shout out to Epic Realms and Roll the Toke for joining us in the chat today, and everybody else who's doing so. They sent us a raid. Legends, awesome people, and they're joining in on the chat today, so we might be doing that. But yes, I may have been reading out their comments literally as you started recording. I am sorry, Daniel, it happens, but, it's our audience, we gotta show them some love.
Yes, but I said ready, you nodded, and I hit record.
And I started talking. Well, it's fine. It's a good thing our editor puts up with it well. So today, we got a top 8 debate for you, as always, one of our favorite episodes, and we realized that we finally played enough of this designer's games.
Yeah, and what's even funnier about it too, we didn't do a single designer last year, so we were like, we have to make up with this.
Yeah, we got to make up for it, and we were like, no, there's only a handful of designers that we really know that many, and then we started looking at our game collection, we're like, wait a minute, what about Rüdiger Dorn? It was like, there's no way we played enough of his games. We played enough,
yeah.
Yeah,
In fact, I played enough to do an honorable mention, but I'm putting in honorable mention on my list that I haven't played because I'm super excited for this one.
I've played enough for all 3 honorable mentions, so we'll talk about those when we get to them. But we're going to be debating Rüdiger Dorn today.
Such a prolific designer. He's been around for a while now, too.
Yeah, and what I like about his stuff, right? Like, some designers that we like Stefan Feld, it's like a lot of actions, a lot of ways to do different things, and they're all unique. Mm-hmm. Phil Walker Harding, he's really clear and concise. He refines everything. They're elegant. That term gets used a lot. But Rüdiger Dorn, he makes games that no other people are doing. Like, his style is very different. The only other time I see his style of games in other people's games is when it's blatantly ripped off.
Which we'll talk about here then a little bit, because we ran into that.
Yeah, we have actually found a knockoff Rüdiger Dorn game, which we will call out. Well, we won't call out by name. Just don't buy it. I mean, just know that's a thing.
There is another game, and we'll talk about it because it's actually in our top 8, that it blatantly rips off. Play that one. In fact, they're bringing it back as a reprint as well. I just got the news about that as well.
Oh, fantastic.
But we adore Rüdiger Dorn. And what I like about his games, too, it's kind of like Phil Walker Harding, where he streamlines his games pretty darn well. And he takes a mechanism, but instead of taking a mechanism and just put it into a basic core aspect of it, he goes way unique on these mechanisms. It's like, oh, you want to pick up and deliver? Let me show you how this actually should work, kind of thing. And you're like, okay, I like that one. Yeah. I like that one.
Mm-hmm. It's one of those designers where everything he does just has this cool little twist to it. It's non-traditional, and it just makes you feel happy playing it. It's so fun.
There's actually every single game on our top 8. About half of them, I'm like, wow, I can't believe I missed this game, or wow, I can't believe I've never played this before till I played it. And you're like, but it feels so familiar too, but with a twist.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll break into those when we get to it, but before, let's talk about what we've been playing. You ready? We'll flip the coin of doom.
All right.
I'll be starting us off. So, I've been playing my weekly game night. We have been playing a lot of random games. And what I mean by that is, we use the BG Stats app, and we actually pick the games at random, because that's one of my goals this year. And as we were playing games randomly, one of our mutual friends requested, he was like, hey, we played this game, because we played 2 city building games back to back. And even though we just talked about Quadropolis, neither of those were one. We played King Domino, and we played one other before that. And he specifically requested, he was like, hey, we haven't played Dwarf Romantic in a while. I was like, cool, I'll go get it. So I grabbed it off the shelf, brought it out, and man, we need to keep playing this more often. This game is just so little charming game. It's a cooperative tile laying game where you deal out a tile, and you're just trying to place it. The only things that have to connect are rivers and train tracks. And, of course, they have to connect to other train tracks, and they have to make sense. Mm-hmm. And there's always going to be 3 objective tiles, and they tell you how long or how big of a size that you have to have. All the numbers, let's say it'll say 4 wheat fields. As long as you put together 4 wheat fields, you can score that objective tile, you set it aside, then you draw another objective tile, and that'll tell you, it's I need a train track that's 6 pieces long. And sometimes you'll score it perfectly where you get one train track that scores, and then you draw another objective tile, which happens to be a slightly bigger train track, and you put it right down there and score it right away, and you just feel silly and clever. And then at the end of the game, you total up all your objective tiles that you've completed, plus your largest or your groups of closed off wheat fields, cities, and forests. And then finally, 1 point for your longest train track and your longest river. And your score determines how many general points that you as a team unlocked. And you can keep track on a big pad of paper, and you start unlocking boxes, you start adding in modules, and you start just doing different things as you're unlocking these objectives throughout the course of play. It feels similar to the video game, although the video game has much bigger numbers. Like, you'll be putting some down, it's like, oh, this is 20 of these, this is 15 of those. And you're comboing off of that way. Whereas in this video game, or in this board game, the numbers are more concise, and it's so calming, it's so clever. Cozy Stickerville was the one we played before that. So This was the third in cozy town building, tile laying kind of thing. Just charming. We had a lovely little night, and it still makes me smile thinking about it. Dwarf Romantic, love that game.
Nice. The first game I'm going to talk about, there's a thing we have to talk about this game, but it's the first game that we played. It was when it was just you and me. We decided for some reason just to make it a Captain Games Day.
Yeah, yeah, we did. I forgot about that. It just ended up being all Captain Games.
So we played a lot of those games. The one I picked is the one that I wanted to talk about first off. I enjoyed this game. I think it was a fun Civilization game. This is Path of Civilization, a Captain's game. The designer is Fabian Greidel. It's a fun game. Mm-hmm. Fantastic mechanistically. I enjoyed the way it's the simultaneous play aspect of it. It's like, hey, I'm doing this, I'm playing these cards out, or I trigger this, go buy this. The only time we had to worry about tiebreakers is if we were both fighting over a certain thing, then you basically look at your board and see which one is triggering first. Mm-hmm. It did really well. I think the game is fine. But there's one major problem with this game, and it's AI art. You can tell that it is an AI art graphic designed game. The gameplay is so good. I really did like it. For a Civilization game, it actually played pretty quickly, too. You play over 9 rounds. You're triggering either different war or scientific in-game or in-round stuff until the last round. Then you're triggering both of those. But the one thing we have always said, we are not going to review a game if it has AI art in it. It's just a stance that we take in here, especially when it's generative AI art rather than AI art that, or not, just AI in general that can help you, maybe word your rule book better or something like that.
Right,
we're fine with that. But when you're using AI to make generative art for your game, that's a bit of an issue for us. And so, as much as I really like this game, and I have it up in the shelf, I don't know if I want to keep it for me personally, but I also don't want to put it back out in the wild either, because just my stance on AI art as well. So it's kind of it's a good game, and I'll play it because mechanically it works.
Yeah, and you didn't know it was AI prior to buying it.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, this look cool. I love Civilization games. I'll pick it up. And then as I go into there, I was like, oh, wait a minute here.
It fooled you.
Yeah, and then I go into the researching the game as well, and I found this is another flaw in here. So this was a big one for me. We won't touch it as a review. The game is fun, and honestly, if they fix the AI art aspect of it and do it like a second edition with an actual artist and stuff like that, I would highly recommend it to people. But right now, we're not going to touch it anymore. I have it. I think
we're going to send a message.
Yeah, we have to send a message. We're not going to review it. We enjoyed the game mechanistically. I think it's well designed. But this is the last time we're going to talk about it. But we wanted to put that out there. That Path of Civilization, fun game. Won't touch it because AI art. And we want to give the people out there to know, hey, this has AI art in it, and depending on what your stance on that is, now you know.
Cool. All right, the second game I want to talk about, and the last game that we'll be talking about that we've been playing, was a game that was going to be my pick on our last Wednesday, became not my pick, but then found out it was my pick. And then so I scavenged together real quick to learn this game, which is not the easiest thing to learn. It took us most of the night. This is Nassau, number 7 in the City Collection. Based on Rum and Bones.
I was going to say, based on,
Or Rum and Pirates, not Rum and Bones, sorry. Rum and Pirates, the original Stefan Feld game from way back in the day. And this is a pirate-themed Stefan Feld game. I mean, if you know his games, you know what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things to do, a lot of options. Now, each round, there's 4 rounds, takes place in 2 phases. The big first phase is when you're moving around a single captain and you're putting out your pirates along these paths in these alleyways to get to different actions, to get materials, to get resources, to build up your wares ready to set sail in the Caribbean. Then the second part of the phase is when you're actually sending your boat out, doing different things like fighting monsters, trading with people, or acquiring their goods, or trading with the other boats that are out there, or taking control of different,
Don't forget
actions.
rescuing sailors.
You can rescue some sailors, but then they are forced to work for you forever. Minor details, but no, this was such a cool game. This is one of my favorites of the City Collection now because of how clever it worked. It started off just being like almost like a little puzzle worker placement game. You're building this path, kind of like Snake. Mm-hmm. The number of cobblestones that are in between one location to the other is how many pirates you have to place down. But the thing is, you might get stuck with like 1 or 2 pirates that you don't want to put down. Or you can use different resources like doubloons to actually go outside of the path and then come back in on the other side of the board. Or you could pay a rum bottle and then that'll let you pass temporarily. So that way you don't have to use up your workers while you let other people do it while you're just sitting around drinking, right? Mm-hmm. And then you do all these cool things, kind of gather up these resources. Then after the Caribbean phase, you're sailing around. You're getting all those points in different ways. You're getting other resources. You're trying to get trade goods that eventually you will hide and store, like treasures, inside of like this little cave, and you want certain ones. Everything like multiplies itself on how it scores. So, like, the towers, for example, the number of towers you gain control times the total number of cubes you have on all of the collective tiles is your score. The number of resource that you bury in the cave, it has points based on, like, a hierarchy system. That's multiplied by the total number of things you've buried. Your weapons, you pick, like, your tallest stack times how many you have. And you're just getting points on points on points on points. And all at the same time, you have this fun little puzzle. Mm-hmm. I was really enamored with this. It was a little long for my taste, but that's only because it took us a while to get going.
We also had to learn it, too.
Yeah, and Dom showed up a little bit later. Mm-hmm. And so we were playing it, we're learning, we're enjoying ourselves. And then by the time we were done, it was like 9 p.m. We're like, that was worth it. It's rare that we go away. There has been some city games from the City Collection where we walked away. We're like, it's fine.
Yeah.
This, I'm so glad they reprinted it, and I'm glad we finally got off of both of our shelves of shame.
Yeah. And it's already on my shelf right there behind all the rest of this stuff. This is technically my stuff on Feld shelf right there. Yep. But what I liked about this game was that first section. I want more games to do that kind of worker placement aspect of it. I thought that was really cool. The sailing the sea, mm-hmm. That's a Stefan Feld game on its own right. I can get points doing this. I can get points doing this. I can do points over there. Everything's gonna give me points. But that mechanistic where you're playing that, I got to put out these 3 workers here to get that resource, and I got to use this resource over here. Do I want to use any more of these workers because I can use these workers to help me set sail or have them take over an outpost or something like that. That little push or twist and pull was such a fantastic game. So much so, you and me got our butts kicked by G.A.M.E.R Dom.
Oh yeah,
but we were all playing differently, and you and me ended up tied just because of different things that we were doing. Because I did this one thing where I got like 60 points. Off that in-game scoring.
Treasures, right?
Yeah, when I got all the treasures buried away in my own little private island there, and it's like, 68 points. You're like, how did you score? You passed me now. We ended up with the same score and almost got lapped by G.A.M.E.R Dom.
Right, exactly, yeah. And that's fine. He just has that ability. But, man, Nassau, that is, if you're going to get one game out of the City Collection, Nassau should be in your top consideration. Think about, yeah, definitely one to think about. I can't say it's the one I would pick.
The one I would pick if it's a new game, like new-wise, I would pick Marrakesh.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
If you don't want something heavy, then get Kathmandu, because that one's actually pretty good too.
Kathmandu is fun, yeah.
But if you're wanting the old ones, whatever the Hamburg reprint, it'd be my go-to pick, because I just love multi-use cards. Sure. But this is right up there. This is like top 3 of like the reprint ones.
Yep.
All right, so my last game I'm going to talk about is a game that you and me played on Board Game Arena. We've been talking about that recently. You and me have been playing a lot Board Game Arena. A lot. Currently, we're going through like 10 active games at the moment. But the one I was really enamored with, other than Kokeshi, when we talked about that one as well.
Yeah, you loved Kokeshi.
Is one from 25th Century Games, or also Winsmith Games, and the designer is named David Smith, is Junk Drawer.
Oh, yeah.
I honestly was pleasantly surprised how this worked. I loved how it's like, oh, this is the shape that you're going through, but you already went into this junk drawer, so you got to put it in one of these other 3 junk drawers. Yep. I'm like, but I don't want the in the other 3 junk drawers. I wanted this piece for that one, and you made me go into that one because this is the best piece to go in there. And I love how each of the 4 junk drawers are going to score completely different. One is like, you cannot cover the outside. This one's you're like, you need to completely cover the outside. It was really interesting, and it's like, it's a polynomial game. But it's not like your normal polynomials. No. You have like these weird shapes. It's like, oh, this is like that L. But then there's this one jagged piece that's just sitting in the middle out of nowhere on the other opposite side of where the L's going up. So it's like, what is this? And it's such a fantastic little puzzle game. Yep. I was enamored by it to the point where I want to pick up a physical copy of this game, how much I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I very well may as well.
Yeah, it was, again, 25th Century has been really knocking it out of the park with a lot of their import games coming out over into the States. Kind of think like Rio Grande did back in the day. Pandasaurus has really been doing it too. But some of their smaller, like, unique style games, they've been doing a fantastic job. And Junk Drawer is like, I don't know if it was an independent or international game that they brought over, but the fact that this one is... It intrigued me. I was like, when you invited me to the game, I'm like, sure, I'll join. It's fine. Yeah. I'll check it out. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, but if I do this and put it in this one, then that fills in this section here, and that's going to give me a lot of points because it wants to be in the middle, all the middle section to be covered. But if I put it over here, that gives me more spaces over here too, and then I could put a new unique space over there and have room for... Because it tells you, like, what should still come up kind of thing. And so, Junk Drawer was a fantastic little puzzle game. It actually works really well in Board Game Arena, so if you want to try it before buying it, that's a good place to do it. But, 25th Century Games, knocking it out of the park with Junk Drawer.
All right, let's get into today's topic today. A top 8 debate for Rüdiger Dorn games. What was your thoughts when we looked through these?
I had to look up a couple just to remember, because it was like one of them on the list. I'm like, I don't know if I played that one. And then I saw the video of how it played. I'm like, oh, I remember that one now. Because I was like, how is this so good for what it's doing? Oh, man, I'm so happy with Rüdiger Dorn games.
I really am. Right. He's now a name where it's like, oh, hey, I brought over a Rüdiger Dorn game. You're like, okay, let's see what this is.
Yeah, when we were talking
about... I used to own some of these, and I got rid of them. But, like... I've never been not surprised by his.
I think there's a couple that I have issues with in our top 8. One of them being okay at best. One of them being it's just because I can't see it half the time. I think it was a good game. I just couldn't see it.
That's going to hurt it really bad when we get into it. But that'll, we'll try to take our bias out of it.
Yeah. But other than that, I really do enjoy what he does as a designer. And so much so, other people like it too that they rip him off blatantly.
Yeah, right, blatantly. Again, we will get into that. We're going to call out people who blatantly rip off others. That is not cool.
Yeah,
not cool.
But there is such a unique style of games, what he does. Like I said, he takes such a unique mechanism, or like a hand-steady mechanism, like deck building. Okay, one of the games here has deck building on it, and then spins it on its head, but it still makes sense.
Yep, exactly.
There's like a... pick up and deliver in a sense, spins it on its head. It's my favorite game on this list, but again, we try to take our bias out of this. But out of all of these games, there's one for sure that I play all above the others. Another one that's close second that I do enjoy playing a lot too.
And we'll talk about those details in a bit, but again, there are some mechanisms that he's made that I have not seen in any other game. And I can't wait to talk about those. And as always, we put these games on the Board Game Arena, Board Game Revolution group on Facebook. And we're just talking about Board Game Arena. Some of these we played on Board Game Arena, by the way. And they're great implementations. One of them. But, shut up. No, so, on Board Game Revolution, we put that on there. We let the people vote for it. So if you're not a member of that group, go for it. It's awesome that they host us every week for us doing that. So we got to appreciate that. Yeah. But then we also come up with our own honorable mentions as well. So let's first go by the honorable mentions from this. Daniel,
represent,
has My Farm Shop, which is one that I have not played.
I have not played that one. It looks interesting. And honestly, it's got Rüdiger Dorn's name on it. I'm like, sure, I'll try it out.
And it's probably weird.
Yeah, so I wanted to mention about this too with the Rüdiger Dorn stuff as well. Is we were talking about a game that's on G.A.M.E.R, and we're talking to Damn Dom about it, and we were like, yeah, and we're gonna back in this one. He's like, I don't know about that, and you're like, it's Rüdiger Dorn. He's like, oh god. So
I'm just trying to save money. That's the only reason I haven't backed it yet, but I am probably gonna. What do the comments say down below? Is there anything?
So what they're talking about is basically runestones.
Yep, runestones. Yeah, cool. Yeah, a lot of love for runestones. So we'll get into that in a bit.
Must be nice.
All right, now let's go ahead and, like in the podcast, like when we get into our episode, we're going to be flipping this coin of doom, but let's start off right now with our honorable mentions, starting with you.
All right, my first honorable mention is the one I haven't played. I'll just go ahead and start off on it because I kind of hinted at it. Yeah. It is currently on GameFound by Quinted Games. If you're familiar with Carnegie, they're the same company that did that one.
Oh, okay.
But this is one that really intrigues me a lot. And when I found out about it, I'm like, oh, that sounds pretty good. His twist on bidding and auction is kind of cool on this one, and this is Goa. The currently on GameFound. When this airs, it might be done by now, but the late pledges should be opening soon-ish when this airs, or it could still be going. I can't remember how long the GameFound actually is, but yeah, no, Goa looks really cool. I was watching a video on how it played to see if it was something I wanted to back, and I'm like, it's Rüdiger Dorn. I'm probably going to end up backing it. And then I saw the video. I'm like, yeah, I'm backing it because of the way he does bidding on this one, where it's like, okay, I'm going to put this as the first bid here, and then people can either outbid or pay me. Say like they're going to say, I'm going to pay 4 on that one. And the next person says, I'm going to pay 5 on that one. Now, my decision, and when it comes back to my turn, is I can pay 4 for that tile that I want, which could also be like the leader token as well. Or I can pay 1 less than the highest bid, or I could take the bid and get those coins from that player, which I thought was kind of cool. And also what is neat about the bidding aspect as well is the first player puts the first bid out there, and the next person is going to put a bid out as well. But when they're doing that, they have to put it in an adjacent space that's next to where I put that first one out. So they're like, I don't really want this, but we'll put it here. And you're going through that auction phase is based on where those tokens are, all in the same general area. And you're playing this over, I believe, 4 rounds. And it looked really cool. I'm like, of course it's Rüdiger Dorn. He would do something like that. And yeah, so Goa, my first pick.
Okay. My first pick is a game called Spacewalk. It's an old game from 1999. And this is an alternate take on Mancala, which I always love Mancala mechanisms.
Yeah.
And the way this works specifically is that you have not a 3D board, but a lifted board, and you have all these rocket ships that are moving amongst planets, and all of them just so happen to be in a circle, and every few spots there is a black hole. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to get rid of your opponent's pieces by picking up a pile of tokens that has your ship into it, and then going along all the spaces and then dropping your opponents into the black hole as you pass by it. It's a simple game. It worked pretty well. I don't know if I still have it anymore. I don't believe I do. But Spacewalk, I remember just being charmed by it because you don't see many Mancala mechanism games. In fact, honestly, that's a mechanism that needs to be in more games. And I stand by that. Like it's a really clever little system, and I like the hole being the black hole that you're literally dropping pieces into. That's just a fun little thing that Ravensburger threw in there. So Spacewalk is my first honorable mention.
All right, my next honorable mention is one that is kind of a twist on a game that's currently on our top 8. Mind you, he's got 2 basic twists on it. But what I like about these games, though, it may share the name of the parent game, but they play quite differently. And this one is in essence, a flip and right or a roll and right kind of game. It's called Istanbul Choose and Right. And what this one does is you're basically an I split, you choose game. I'm putting something out there. You're deciding which one you're going to draw, and I get what's left over. Okay. And I write on my writing pad on my specific board, and they'll trigger here. And again, just like in Istanbul, it's a race to a certain amount of gems based on the player count. oh my god, this works so well. I really dug this one. I was like, so much so that when I played this one, and of course Istanbul, I went out of my way to find Istanbul, the dice game. I haven't played it yet. It's on my pile of shame, but it is one that I need to get played.
Yep.
But I really did enjoy the way this one specifically worked with the I split you choose aspect on a right game. We're playing a fun little right game as well where it's like go fish in right. And I'm like, this could have totally been a Rüdiger Dorn style and it would totally make sense for me.
Yes, it would.
But yeah, I split you choose into a flipping right kind of thing. I thought was kind of neat. So Istanbul choosing right.
All right. The next honorable mention I want to talk about is a game that was re-implemented and redesigned for a newer one. Originally, it was Louis the 14th. Louis the 14th, and then it became Mafioso. Now, what makes this... I don't remember much how the game works. You're trying to get like sets and different ways of area control of different things. And you lay out these tiles.
You're putting an area control on your list?
Yes,
shocking.
I know, but it's Rüdiger Dorn. And this is the clever part. You lay out these tiles, and in Mafioso, I think it's a board. But Louis the 14th, you have these tiles that you have set up. And you have like the resources in between the tiles. That's just kind of their placement.
Yeah.
But on your turn, you're going to be placing down 3 of your control discs. But you have to go in a straight diagonal line to do it. So I might put mine on number 14, number 7, and then number 2, because that's just how the line works or whatever. I'm making up the numbers, but that generally that's how you're doing it. So you're trying to do the actions on these. You're trying to gain control of those as you're going, but you're also trying to put it in this weird diagonal pattern because you put out 3 at a time. It's a weird little puzzle, but it does definitely work. There's no theme on it. Mafioso is a better theme, but again, it's not very thematic. But I really enjoy how that works, and I remember... Like, even though it's area controlled, that puzzly aspect of it is, yeah, it's pleasant to me.
All right. I haven't played that one. It sounds intriguing.
Yeah.
But the last game I'm going to talk about, you and me have both played. It was your game that you wanted to play while we were at this convention. We played it.
Yep.
And we both fell in love with it.
Yeah.
Just because of the shenanigans of this game. He put a twist on a memory game.
Yes.
And that twist is poop. This is called Los Monfos from Cosmos, I want to say, or one of those children lines back in the day. It is, early 2000s?
Just
if not earlier than that. But it's cool. It's like this little donkey. You're feeding little cubes to it. Yeah. There's 3 of them. You're playing a card out to move a certain donkey, and then you're trying to see if they're going to poop, and then you're trying to gamble on how much more they're going to fall out of those cubes. It's like, is it going to be red, or is it going to be yellow, or is it going to be white? And at one point you're like, okay, how many did I put in that one? Which color did I put in that? Oh god, which one? I'm trying to remember which one is got what. And to the point where 3 grown men are playing with wooden donkeys, feeding them oats or something like that.
They're the food chips.
Food chips.
Chips. Yeah.
And you're moving them across this board, and you're trying to remember which ones are going to poop out what color, and you're trying to bid on that. And if you're like, I don't want to bid on the one, I think there's a bunch of red in there, so maybe I want to bid on the white, because I think there's a bunch of white. Oh, then when we reveal it's like, oh, wait, that's not the one that had all the white in it. That kind of one. And it plays so well. Yes. I'm shocked how well. I want to pick up a copy for myself if I ever find it, because it's the right kind of silly.
Yeah.
With the right kind of silly. It's a memory game.
Yeah.
With pooping donkeys.
Yes.
How does that work?
You know how people make giant board games for conventions?
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
We're not getting a donkey, right?
No, not real donkey.
I don't want to pay the fees on that.
Yeah. Oh, we'd be paying the fees. Let me tell you. No, but I think that'd be funny. Like a giant wooden dog. We carry it in a bunch of rooms. Like, hey guys, we're gonna play a board game about poop. That would be fun.
So Los Monfos is my final honorable mention.
And my final honorable mention, which I need to bring over because I think you'll like it. I played it only once so far, but I have it in my collection. I'm going to keep it for a while. It's called Emerald. And you're trying to get these different stones and different gold by delving into the Cave of the Dragon without trying to wake him up, essentially. And immediately that's really simple. But here's the catch, and here's what makes it interesting. The decks on the bottom all have different numbers of coins, where that's how many coins that they're worth. That's just simply points. And then the gems on the top are different decks, and they're shuffled up, and they're dealt out as well. And you get like sets of those for points as well. Now, what makes it clever is that when you land on one of the spots, you choose one of the two. But how do you know how far you move? Well, there's no dice. Simply, you pick any one spot on the board that contains one of your pieces, and you move it the number of spaces equal to the number of pieces on that space. So if there is 4 pawns, like let's say there's 2 of yours, 1 of mine, and 1 of our third players, I can pick up my piece and move it 4 spaces to pick up the card that I want. But that means that if you want to move yours, that's now 3 spaces. Assuming our friend doesn't move theirs first. Then you have 2, and if you move your last one away, then if it's by its lonesome,
he's moving 1.
He's a slow little guy moving along. That is such a cool mechanism.
Yeah.
Like, it's so clever how that works.
There's another one that kind of does that, Finca, where you can move on that rondelle based on how many pieces are on there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you like that, you'll probably like Emerald.
Nice. I'll have to check that one out. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to bring it over. It's really cool.
Sounds pretty cool.
Oh, awesome. So that was it for our honorable mentions, as well as the honorable mentions. Let's talk about today's top 8 debate and how this is going to go down. First off, we have our 8 highest ranked games that you and I have both played, designed by Rüdiger Dorn. We have our number 1 seed, Istanbul.
Going up against our number 8 seed, Mercado.
Our number 2 seed, Las Vegas.
Going up against our number 7 seed, Asante.
Our number 3 seed, Karuba.
Going up against our number 6 seed, Dragonheart. That one hurts me.
Yeah, that's going to be a hard one. And our number 4 seed, Luxor.
Going up against our number 5 seed, Runestones. That one doesn't hurt me as much. Well, it does if I'm playing the game. I get a headache out of it.
Exactly. We'll explain that in a minute. And of course, as always, we have our 5 gamer criteria. We'll be breaking down those here in a bit. We flip our coin of doom. Daniel pulls from the cup of doom, and we will debate our sides. We have our 5 gamer criteria. Oh, by the way we pick these 8 games, Daniel and I both played it. They're the highest ranked on Board Game Geek. That's how we pick them. All right, so we have game immersion. That breaks down to, is the game fun to lose, player interaction, and memorable moments.
The A in gamer criteria is art and production. The art, the pieces and components, and the graphic design. We've kind of mentioned that a little bit.
Yep. We have meaningful choice, impact on other players, depth of strategy, tactics, or skills, and do arbitrary choices or AP impact the game negatively.
The E in gamer is ease of play. Simplicity and familiarity of the mechanism. The likelihood to get to the table, whether it's through the mechanism or the theme, or other ideas. Or is it easy to learn, understand, and or teach, which is a big component for these kind of games.
That's right. And we have replay value, the length of time and scaling well per player count, minimum number of plays for the full experience, and expandability up to already existing expansions or confirmed by the publisher or designer.
And if all else fails and we cannot come to a consensus of what should move on, we put a poll on the Board Game Revolution group on Facebook. You help us decide which moves on based on whoever has the most votes.
That's right. So, ready to get into this?
And we also want to make mention, this is only the second month that we've done this. There is a new shot clock involved now. So not only do we have the gamer criteria, we have the everyday board game shot clock.
That's right. So put 2 minutes on the clock right now.
Well, not right now.
Well, not right now. As soon as we know who's debating. Daniel, you'll be starting first.
And I get Mercado.
All right.
Let me put this down, and we'll get going right now. With Mercado, it's kind of a twist on a bag building game, which is unique to me, because nothing really changes in the bag unless you're putting in the fake gems or taking out the fake gems, and you're putting in the wild gems, I guess it's the white ones in there. And it's a really neat aspect of the game. It took me a little bit to remember this. I had to watch a video just to remind you. Mind you, last time I played this game was before I started keeping track of my records on BG Stats. And I remember playing it. It was a 2-player game at your house. I think you had just moved into where you're currently living now. So it was before 2019, I want to say. So 2018, 2019, somewhere around there. It's well produced. It has some good game immersion in there because you're like trying to fight each other for these sections, because these things you're basically bidding on them. And so it's a twist on a bid as well. You're pulling these tokens out of a bag. You're putting them into the section of what you're fighting over, and you're trying to make sure you pull enough out of there to trigger that before someone else does. Because if he beats me to it, sometimes I may get a secondary reward if I'm the second most on there. Sometimes I'm just SOL, and I had to put my stuff on my player board because I didn't get to use it. And what's neat about this too is as you're pulling stuff out of the bag, they're not going back in unless you use your action to put stuff back into your bag. And so your turn is either pulling stuff out of your bag and going after something, or putting stuff back into your bag. This way you have more copper in there or more silver in there. So there is some uniqueness of it. There is a little bit of replay value because you're not going to see everything at one go, but it's pretty much the same game. The simplicity of it is because it's a twist on bag building. It's pretty easy to take okay, I'm pulling this stuff out, but you're not really adding anything into it. So there's not too much of a step on there, like say something like Orleans.
Oh, that was quick. I'm not used to that shot clock. All right. So I have Istanbul. Here we go. Istanbul is a unique take on a pick up and deliver style game. You have your family members, which are represented by a stack of discs. On your turn, you're going to be moving 2 spaces, and you will either place down one of the discs from the stack or retrieve one. Either way, you get to activate the building. You are going to be getting up to 4 different types of resources, and you're going to be trading those resources in to get combinations of points, special ability cards, or other things, or specifically the redstone. Not points, sorry. There is no points. You're in a race to actually get either 5 or 6 of these gems first. Now, as by trading in goods, you can get gems, or you can actually gamble. There's also a way to get money, or you can sell these goods for money to trade in and buy gems as well, which increase in value throughout the game. And there's all sorts of fun little combinations from there, like going to the tea house, doing some gossip. You can actually send other players' family members to jail, which gets you a benefit. You can get some extra little bonus cards that gives you abilities, and it's really clever. What makes this game so unique and so over the top, and why people like it so much, is that the board is fully modular. You can put out the tiles however you want to. You mix them up, put them out, and then as you're moving around, you're trying to build this path, because as you're taking these actions, again, you have to either pick up a disc or retreat or lay one down from your stack. So if you're able to maneuver that, where you're going back and forth from certain spots and then retrieving them or dropping them off at the right time, then you can continue taking those actions until there's a point where you can't. And then that's when you have to really try to reassess the puzzle part of it. I've talked a lot about puzzlery games. I like solving these puzzles as the main mechanism, and this is a mechanism I have not seen before. Not only are you pick up and delivering the resources and the money to get the gems for the points, you're also doing that for your workers that you have to place along the way. Very unique, very clever, 2 expansions, awesome game. Boom.
All right, debate over. Now we have to make the decision.
All right, so we'll count down. Do you know which one you're picking?
Yep.
All right. 3, 2, 1, Istanbul. All right. I agree. As much as it pains me, because I really like Mercado, I like the 4 different style of currency, like bag building kind of thing. I think that's really clever. It's without a doubt. Istanbul has to move on for that. All right. That's it for round 1. We're going into round 2 with Las Vegas versus Asante. These are the 2 most different games.
Yeah, I was going to say, these are
the most different, easily.
So me, and I get Las Vegas.
Okay.
Thank God, because I remember this one a little bit better than Asante,
Sure.
And I've played Asante more recently.
I always have to kind of relearn it every time.
All right. Before we get into the debate, this is the game that we saw that was blatantly ripped off.
Yes. So there is a knockoff version on Amazon or a few other places that claim this is a family game. It's called Roll to Riches. We don't like giving them any press or anything, but just know that is Las Vegas by Rüdiger Dorn. Go support Rüdiger Dorn.
Yeah, exactly.
Whoever's publishing it. Normally it's
Las Vegas is just getting a new
Ravensburger.
reprint from Ravensburger.
Yeah.
And it looks pretty nice too.
Yeah.
All right. Now, into the debate. All right, Las Vegas is a simple game. It's probably the simplest game on this list. I think Luxor might give it a run for its money for how simple it is. But what's going to happen here is you have a set amount of dice. I'm trying to remember, is it 6 dice per player? I think it's 6 dice per player. When you're rolling those dice and you're putting those dice into a certain section based on the number that are rolled. And you're basically trying to get like an area control aspect of it because whoever wins that certain section gets that money out of it. Now, however, if we end up tied, the third person in there, like say me and Daniel tied here, we get nothing, then damn it, Dom will get the most money out of it. If I'm second most, then I get the second one. If they're third most, they may get something, they may not get something. But it's more along the lines. But if him and me are tied, then the person gets the larger sum. And it is that simple. It's that neat. For a dice game, fantastically done. I mean, you could fight it. They came in a cube. It came in whatever. There is another different version of it called Las Vegas Royal. We didn't put it on the top 8 debate because we have a thing where we don't put similar games that are in the same line just with extra steps. But Las Vegas is clean, simple, elegant game. And this is one of his most elegant games for how good. And this is actually one of the first games I ever played of his and enjoyed it. And then it went to Istanbul, and I fell in love with him after that. After I think Karuba was the third game I ever played of his, and was like, wow, he is just something of a designer. But Las Vegas, such a simple little die game. Not really party game, but kind of party game-esque, because I think it only holds up to 6 players, if I remember correctly, out of the base box. Maybe it was an expansion that did that. But yeah, no. Las Vegas is by far the cleanest game on this list, because you're rolling your dice and you're placing them out there, and then you're waiting until either have to take a die back or a group of dice back for you can keep rolling, because you're like, oh, I'm not going to win this one. Or you're waiting until those things trigger, and you can get your bonuses and stuff like that. So yeah, Las Vegas.
Cool. And I have to argue for Asante, huh?
Yeah, at least you can remember it more than I do.
All right, so Asante is... there's also another game called Jumbo, which we are not debating because neither of us have played it. But what I understand is another version... Or not another version, but also compatible with it.
Yeah.
So we can count it as an expansion or an expandalone because they can be combined. But Asante, what it is, it's a card-driven game. You are going to be kind of vying over 3 different locations. You're playing certain artifacts out, and you're trying to get a certain number of points. Now, what's cool, or sorry, not points, coins. First, a certain number of coins, I think it's like 65 or 60, triggers the end of the game. Whoever has the most at the end of the game wins. And what's cool is that there's a lot of like buying and selling of cards. There's different types of animals and people that you can not buy, but like you use their abilities for your benefit to manipulate different markets. You are getting resources of different cards and different types of resources. I forget what they are exactly. Or when you play a card that gets you either resources, you can either gain those resources by paying a little bit of money or by selling those to get a lot more money. So each card can either be buying or selling. Like it'll say either $2 or $10 or whatever, right? And so if I'm buying those resources, I'm paying $2. If I'm selling those, I'm gaining 10. But you have to have exactly those number of resources. Again, there are different abilities and artifacts that will let you modify those. There's ways to affect other players. It can be mean at times, but it is a really clever little resource management. And the fact that you have to have exactly the right resources to buy and or sell, it sounds easy enough, but it's a crazy little puzzle. Drawing an extra card on your turn, that's an extra thing. So you essentially take 3 actions. One has to be, or is it 5? I don't remember off the top of my head. You have to take 3 or 5 actions, and one of them has to be draw a card, and then the rest may be draw a card, but as soon as you start playing cards, that you have to play cards for the remaining of the turn. So if I draw 2 cards, the rest have to be playing cards, etc., etc. Really clever card game.
Is this a 2-player only, right? That's the one thing I couldn't remember. Asante and Asante and Dragonheart are the 2-player games.
Yep.
So actually a good spread on this one too.
Yeah, it is. All right. So between Las Vegas and Asante, you ready? Mm-hmm. 3, 2, 1. Las Vegas. Yep. I mean, so far the popular ones are going, but that's okay. It's okay. It's a little random, but it is what it is. All right, our next round is going to be Karuba versus Dragonheart. This one is the one that hurts us.
Oh, yeah.
We'll talk about why here in a minute. All right, I'll be starting us off today.
All right. You will be getting Dragonheart.
Yes, let's go. I'm pretty good with Dragonheart. All right.
Ready?
Yep. All right, Dragonheart has no right being as fun as it is. I'm starting off with that because it is a 2-player only game. You have a number of locations on this little board. You have like a dragon, you have some trolls, you have warriors, you have a person riding a horse, you have like flags in the ocean, whatever, you know. I forget what those are called, but like the
banners.
The banners, yeah. You have all these different things. Now, what they do is they have a certain number that score them. But every time you place one down, that affects one other type of good or type of card. And you're trying to score the most cards. Every card that you get will be its value that are on there. And it's sometimes up to like 4 points each or 5 points each. So if I play down a dragon, for example, that would be good. I can steal some gold. But which of previous treasure chests I had to have been placed out as cards. So I can steal those. But the thing is, your archer might shoot down my dragon, which is pretty wild when that happens, right? Like if that happens, then you take all the dragon cards. But then once you get to a certain number of like archers, that all goes down to the discard pile. And then that discard pile, once you play a certain number of banners, then you get those instead. And so they all work in different ways. They all have different ways to trigger, and they all interact with one other type, except for the trolls, which kind of only work on themselves. And that's if you have 4 of them, you just score them, which is kind of cool. You know, they don't want to deal with anybody. But then you also have the Ancient Dragon, which if you have that token, you get more cards in your hand because you can play as many of a single type of card as you want. So I can play down 3 different warriors to try and get the dragons or try and get the other ones and slay the dragon and get the points from it because I know I need a certain amount to score it. Or I can try and play sparingly and try and draw those because we have the same deck that we're going to be going through. I can't tell you how much I love this game. Dragonheart.
The other 2-player game out of this.
Other 2-player.
And also, want to make reference for the fact, it's nothing to do with the movies from back in the day.
No, nothing to do with them.
Nothing to do with the movies.
All right.
I get to argue Karuba.
That's right.
Karuba is an interesting game. It's you want to think like Indiana Jones going through the jungle and exploring and going through temples and trying to get gold. In this case, gems. Or actually, you're just trying to find different ways of scoring, and by making a logical pathway in a tile placement game of all things. And so it's intriguing me to that aspect. It is like very heady when you think about it at first, and you're like, wait, it cannot be this simple, and yet it is. So much so they made a card game out of this game, another one we were talking about, that plays almost similar but quite different. So it has this like nuance to it where you're playing a tile out and you're trying to make a logical path going to where you're going. But yeah, it kind of thinks Suro, where you're actually still trying to keep your guy on that specific path. You're trying to combo temples. You're trying to combo like different resources or villages and stuff like that through the jungle. And it has this really cool push and pull aspect of there. Is like, don't leave me that tile. Don't leave me. You left me that tile. All right, how do I make this work in what I'm trying to do? You're trying to be the first one, if I remember correctly, to the other side of your thing in a logical point.
Yeah, for the adventurer to reach their corresponding temple. Yeah.
And the thing is, for when that happens, you're also trying to trigger like good scoring opportunities as well. So because I think it's still most points at the end of the game. I don't know if it's...
Yeah, it's most points.
Yeah,
and it's bingo style.
Yeah, it's kind of neat how it works. And it's like I said, this is the 3rd game I played of his, and I was like, okay, this is really what put it on the map. I played Las Vegas, then I played Istanbul, then I played this one. And it's like, this is one of those games that put Rüdiger Dorn. It's like, oh, this is a little cute tile laying game. Wow, how much depth is in this game. This is ridiculous. It seems simple, but then you're like, okay, how am I going to make this work to what I need to do? And so, yeah, Karuba.
Cool. All right, I know which one of the 2 I'm voting on. Do you?
Let me just look at this real quick.
Okay, so he's going to review our gamer criteria. Again, we have art and production, game immersion, art and production.
Yeah, I know which one.
Meaningful choice, ease of play, and replay value. 3, 2, 1, Dragonheart. We are in agreement today, sir. That is awesome. Yeah, and what really put Dragonheart above it for me is that it really allows you to feel really clever. Whereas, like, Karuba, yes, no player has an advantage over everybody else because you are literally going through the turns. You put one tile, everyone places that tile. And so there's no player that has an advantage, but it's very isolated. It's a puzzle that you're playing multiplayer solitaire, and the only interaction is just like, oh, I got that tile first, so I get more points because you get, it's fine. But I really enjoy the game. Don't get me wrong. Like, I
Grim is fine. Yeah.
But Dragonheart, there's something special in it.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
When you showed me that, I was like, wow, this is so good.
Yep.
We played the physical game, and then we played it again on Board Game Arena. I just had a blast with it both times.
It's one of those just chills. Like, I'll just chuck cards down. I'll just beat you up. Yeah, it's all good. All right, Luxor versus Runestones now. I'm starting this one off.
Man, you get Runestones.
Oh, I was hoping I wouldn't get this one because I don't remember it as well. All right, here we go.
You ready?
Yep. First off, doesn't get art in production because it is one of the least colorblind friendly games that Daniel and I have played in recent history.
It gave me a headache when we played.
It did. Same. Like we played it in 2019, and again, we're trying to take our bias out of it but the entire time it was a 3-player game.
22.
2022? That's how new it is?
Mm-hmm. Wait, that's when we played it, yeah.
Shame for not being colorblind friendly. Because there's so many gems in it that are all different colors, and the colors on the cards don't match the colors on the gems, and even those are just like tiny little circles that like does no differentiation
and
whatsoever.
no different shades either on the gems.
Yeah, no different shades. So it shames me to say this because this is a cool deck building game. You're trying to build up these combos to either acquire cards, play cards, or pay money to get these gems or play the cards and gain gems in different combos. And I feel like this could have been an incredible game. You and I were very excited to play it. And after maybe 45 minutes of playing it, and Dom was still like, yeah, that's a green one. That's a red one. And we're like, wait a minute, hold on. I have to get... Which one is that again? That's a gray one.
Yeah, G.A.M.E.R Geek had to help us a lot too. Yeah, it was a 4-player game of it.
It was just like, it really ruined the experience for us. It's almost unfair, like, because I know a lot of people love this game, and I wanted to love it, but I can't play it, and you can't play it. So I'm just gonna stop right there with the debate because it sounds really dope.
And now I'll add to the debate real quick before I get into my here. It plays good. It is a fantastic deck building game. Everything about it I really enjoyed, just as much as I talked about Path of Civilization at what I've been playing. It plays really good, but the graphic design gave me a headache because I couldn't figure out, I'm doing all this. Oh, wait, that's a green gem. I don't want the green gem. I wanted the red gem. Yep. There's no shade variation whatsoever. So if you're not colorblind, you'll enjoy the mess out of this game.
Yep.
All right, I get to argue Luxor. Luxor is an interesting game to me. I remember you showed me this one, and I was like, really? That's it? It's a roll and move, but you're playing cards to do the rolling and moving aspect. So you have a hand of cards, and it's anywhere between like 1 through 5 or something like that, and you move one of your archaeologists, I guess you could say. You're in a pyramid temple thing, and it's like a spiral thing. And so you play a card, and you move that many spaces on an active meeple. Or archaeologists. They move that many spaces, so I move 1. And then you trigger the location where you land, if you can. If it's one of the relic aspects, you need to have a certain amount of meeples on there, and it will tell you what you need, like 2 or 3 or maybe even just 1. Then you can pull that off. If it's like a power area, then you have a possibility of scoring or getting a certain power. Maybe if it's a Horus thing, you get a key, or you get to move a certain amount of spaces, or you get a powerful card that can help you depending on what you're landed on. If it's like the 1 Eye of Horus, then you get this stack of cards. Or if it's the 2 Eye of Horus, then you go from this stack and so forth. And the Eye of Horus gets more powerful as you're going deeper into the tomb. However, the keys are important because you cannot get into the area where you can get the most points, the sarcophagus area, without a key. And you have to have the exact movement to get your character in there with a key to get either the first or second of the sarcophagus, but that's also good for you at the end of the game because it gives you in-game scoring as well, depending on where your character is at. There's also other spaces that allow you to move forward. Each of the things that you're getting will give you an in-game scoring as well for like the triggering. You'll also get points when you claim them. So you move those points up, and then you have different sets of them. There's 3 different items. So if you have a set there, you get a certain amount of points. If you get a second set, then you get more points. And a third set will give you more points. And so there's a lot of nuance to it for a roll and move game, which should not work, and it works really well.
Yeah, most specifically, it's not a roll move, it's a play card move, but yeah.
No,
Yeah.
there is roll and move in there because you can roll a die.
Fair enough. Alright. So, I mean, I know which one I want to move on.
Yeah, I know which one I'm moving on for me as well, so.
Should we even count it down?
It's Luxor.
Yeah, I'm Luxor. Sorry. I mean, again, Queen Games, I think they make Luxor too. It shouldn't have been so uncolorblind friendly.
Honestly, if it wasn't for
chance.
such a problem that took us out of it, and like I said, we try to take our bias out of it, but when a game gives us a headache for just trying to play it, there is an inherent flaw in it.
Yes. Yeah. This should be disqualified on that reason only. And don't get me wrong, I actually would have voted for Luxor anyway, because I really like Luxor, and that will go on to the next round. So, that is it for the quarterfinals. We're about to go into the semifinals here in a few moments. First off, Daniel, tell us how many people, or what percentage of votes did our 4 eliminated games get?
Mercado, no votes. 0% of the vote. Got no
love.
Got no love.
That
love.
game needs to be played. You need to try Mercado. Mercado's dope.
Asante, the next game that was eliminated, 1% of the vote.
Mm-hmm.
Karuba had 4% of the vote. And then finally, Runestones had 8% of the vote. So those had some good voting gets, but honestly, we're kind of matching up what they're saying in here on the vote getters too. So can't complain on that aspect either.
That's right. Cool.
And then this is that one. Okay, cool. So moving into the second round, we have our number 1 seed, Istanbul, going up against our number 6 seed, Dragonheart.
And our number 2 seed, Las Vegas, going against... number 2 seed, going against our number 4 seed, Luxor. These are all games I really adore.
Yeah.
They really are.
They are.
All right.
This is going to be tough.
Yeah, Will. All right, guys, here we go. You're starting us off.
And I get Istanbul, which means you get to play with Dragonheart, which you're fine with.
I'm fine with it. I like Dragonheart a lot. I think it could put up a good fight.
Oh, yeah, I think so, too.
We'll talk
about it here in a minute. But I'm ready, so let's go. Istanbul is a Kinderspiel winner for a reason. It has enough depth in it where you have to think about your moves, but also just such a simplistic game. I remember when we busted this game out, you showed it to me and I'm like, oh, that's good. And I had to pick it up because I collect the Kinderspiel winners. Mm-hmm. Then we showed it to G.A.M.E.R and G.A.M.E.R Geek, and both of them were like, this game is just fantastic. So much so, G.A.M.E.R Geek went out and bought himself a copy of the game. I think when we did a Bookman's run, he's like, oh, I'm going to pick this one up then. Istanbul is such a simplistic game where G.A.M.E.R Geek even mentions this is a game that he can play with his spouse because it's such a simple game. You're just moving across the board, and it's a race to turn in the gems. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It has 2 expansions. If you get the big box, both those expansions come into it that don't do too much to the game. It's got the modularity, but if it's your first time playing it, it tells you this is how you should set the board up. It doesn't make it difficult for new players to, not be able to play with experienced players. Mm-hmm. It is the quintessential Rüdiger Dorn game for me. I think it's a fantastic game. It has that replay value. It has that simplicity. Maybe art production is like where it hurts the most just because it shows its age. But it's legible more so than Runestones, which is old or younger than it. So it does really well. I adore Istanbul. I think it also has that game immersion where it's like, oh, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to turn in this gem. And then you can hear G.A.M.E.R Geek across the table. You son of I was about to go in there. Now it's more expensive. So I got to go get this banana over here instead.
So banana.
I have to go pick up this banana because you made it more expensive for me to get that gem there now.
It's always the surplus banana.
Yeah.
Sorry, carry on.
So, but it's such a fantastic game. It has those memorable moments, those fun player interactions. Hey, I'm going to take your person. I'm going to put him back in jail. The art and production, I think, is where it's weakest. But for such a small game, it has some meaningful choice.
All right. So I need to argue for Dragonheart? Yep, I'm in. Again, do you remember how you felt the first time I showed you Dragonheart? Mm-hmm. This is the dark horse. This is the one that I think has the highest chance that fewer people have played out of all this list. Dragonheart is just a lovely little fun game because every card has the potential to be a really good card. And the thing is, you're thinking, okay, the dragon is about to score, right? Mm-hmm. I don't want to put out treasure chests. Why wouldn't I want to put out treasure chests, right? Because you don't want the dragon to eat it. And here's the thing, I am assuming you have a dragon. But at the same time, you can only wait so long. You have to play something on your turn. So if I only have treasure chests, well, then I don't have a choice. But even then, I might want to play a treasure chest because even though I don't have dragons to get the treasure chest, I might have those archers to take out the dragon. So if I throw down a treasure chest to bait you in, and you throw down the dragon, well, then I can swipe in with the archers. So what you do in this line is you have the cyclical pattern of trying to figure out what timing you want to play your cards. You want to play something that you have exactly 2 before of, so that way, if I bait you into taking this, I can then swoop in and get even more points because of how it triggered. I love the way that works, and there's so much cool give and take. I think people who like stuff like Lost Cities, with that way less math, I think, Jaipur, like a lot of those quintessential, 2-player games that have that, like, I don't directly affect you. I'm only affecting me, technically. But everything I make a change permanently alters future turns from now on, and that means that you're going to definitely take that into consideration, and I can manipulate it accordingly. I could put down something valuable knowing that you want to go for it, but then you're going to be weary on whether I have something to react to that. God, I love that combo in it, and I think this has a good chance of moving on.
What I will say about Dragonheart 2 is that timing is so well aspect.
So fun.
Because it's like, I remember when both times we played it, you're like, I have to play something. I'll just play a boat. I don't think he has the boats.
There is another game.
And then all of a sudden I play 3 boats and you're like, oh, come on!
There's another game that has the same kind of timing that I feel, and it's a Reiner Knizia game called Kariba. That it's animals eating on a food chain.
I own it.
Yeah, it has that same feeling of time frame, except it's asymmetric at the same time, which is, I love it. Man, do I love Dragonheart.
All right, I got to look at the list real quick.
Yep, because this is actually tougher than it seems.
All right, I got my pick. It's close, but I got my pick.
Yeah, same. 3, 2, 1,
Istanbul.
And because of game immersion.
Yes.
That's why. Because there's no stand-up moment. Like, you feel
Other
good.
than playing the cards, if you're like, that surely shouldn't happen.
Yeah, you're like, oh, not again. Oh, stop stealing my stuff. That's funny. But, when it's like, haha, I sent your dude to prison for the 4th time this game.
You know what got it for me, though? Because I think it was 2-2 when I was going through the list.
Huh.
Replay value.
Replay value. Okay, yeah.
Because there's 2 expansions, you can hold more players, and it still plays relatively the same, depending on the player count.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was just barely irked it out. But man, Dragonheart.
Dragonheart it's a hidden gem out there. If you can find a copy of it,
or play it on Board Game Arena.
Yeah, or play it on Board Game Arena. It's so fantastic. Good. Yeah.
By the way, have I mentioned at the top of this episode that we have a Discord now, and Daniel and I play Board Game Arena all the time. If you join our Discord, you can hit us up. We'll play some games with you on Board Game Arena, and I'll gladly teach you a Dragonheart.
And as always, the link for our Discord is going to be in the comments below.
That's right.
Or the description below.
All right, we have Las Vegas and Luxor. Or Las Vegas and Las Vegas Resort.
I've been to the Luxor.
Yeah, it's cool. I like it.
I only went to the Luxor just for the body exhibit. They have the body exhibit in there. Yeah,
I've never stayed there, but I'm normally the guy who goes to Excalibur. I like my Excalibur.
If I stay anywhere, we tend to stay. It's called the Strat now. It's just because we can always get good discount on the Stratosphere.
Yeah. I mean, you don't stay in Circus?
Oh hell no! Oh. I don't like clowns.
No, that's true. Yeah. So you didn't want to stop at the world famous clown motel in Tonopah, Nevada?
No, thank you.
Did you say your name? What? Yeah, no, it's fun. So Las Vegas and Luxor.
All right, so I'm getting Luxor. All right, so let me get this clock started. Hold on.
Yeah, you don't get no free time.
All right, when we're talking about a roll and write or a play and write, there is a actual roll and write aspect to Luxor because you can play a card that gives you the die to roll that many spaces. It is by far a really unique game to where I'm like, how does it... When you showed this to me, I was like, well, that just sounds kind of boring. It's like a Monopoly-esque kind of game, except for I'm not really rolling a die. I'm playing cards out. What I didn't mention the first time I talked about this game is the unique thing when you get a new card into your hand. You have to play the Bonanza roll. It goes straight in the middle, not the Bonanza, but you cannot move it anywhere. You have to play the card either on the left or the right. Yep. So you cannot move those cards. So if I draw a 3, I got to either move 1 or 2 spaces because I need to get that 3 out there. And it's like, okay, how am I going to do this? And you're trying to manipulate how I'm going to get my workers to a certain point. But I also need my workers to go across a threshold for I can get a new archaeologist to start moving around too, because then maybe I could trigger the thing where I can get 2 things, but then he can come over and be like, no, I can move my second one there and snake that thing from you. It has that really fun aspect. It's like a lot of depth for a game where you're just kind of playing something or rolling something and moving a die or a character. It's like, how is that going to work as well as it does? And it plays so well, so unbelievably amazing for something like that. You look at it and be like, wait, it's just a spiral pattern. You're just moving a certain amount of time. It sounds boring. It's not. There is a lot more depth, and there's a card in there that allows you, and the only way for you to do this, to go backwards. When it gives you a plus or minus, that's the only time that you can move backwards. So it's like, if I play this -1, now that I got out of the way, I can move this guy back. Now I hit the 2 there. I trigger this. I get this ability, and I get the points on that. And it's just like that when you try to play it, but you also have to make sure you have the cards in the right area.
Yeah, one thing to add to that makes it really clever is like, I play a game called Senate, which is like the oldest known board game of all.
Yeah.
And the way it solves roll and move is it gives you multiple pieces to move. That solves it. Like, that's all you need to do. It's not just roll a die and move 1 piece.
Yeah.
If you have 1 set of movement, like you move 5 spaces, but you have 5 pieces to move from, then it's super simple, right?
Yeah.
Like, I love the different options you have. And this, you have 2 cards to choose from, and all your pieces, and you unlock more pieces that start over. Really clever.
Yeah, it is. It's fantastically clever.
Yep.
All right, you get
Las Vegas.
Las Vegas. Ready?
But now, as clever as Luxor is, Las Vegas is elegant, and this is brilliant how it is. It's a bidding game where you roll your dice and you play all of a certain number. That's what you have to do. And there's no benefit to getting much more of a majority than your opponent. If you have 1 die on there and I have 5 dice on the card, that doesn't mean I win more. That just means I spent more to do it. So you want to be efficient, but with efficiency means that you can't take those big, like, jumping to the fences, like, massive moves. Mm-hmm. You roll and you kind of only got what you got, and each die is the tiebreaker from there. That's what makes Las Vegas so neat, is that it forces you to have to bid on certain ones. It makes the different spots, the different values, have different amounts of money that make it more worthwhile for you to go to those. But again, even first and second place, you just get either the highest or the second highest one. If there's a $8 and a $9 bill, like that would be incredible to do. But that means that if I get second place with 1 and you have like 5 dice on it, I still get the 8. That's only 1 less than you. Like, it's so smart how that works in that aspect of it. Now, the thing is, it's still beholden to random. We got to be fair about that. There is less meaningful choice. Mm-hmm. It is purely a tactics game, and there's not a guarantee you'll get exactly what you want. And sometimes the last few dice is roll, put it wherever, because you don't have that choice. But if you put yourself in that position where you only have 1 dice, you know that, and you know that you're going into it like, well, I'm going in, next roll is random, but then that can have that stand-up moment where you're like, come on, let's go for the 6, I just need 1 more, and boom, got the 6. Everyone loves it, right? It's super exciting. But at the same time, Luxor, has more depth, it has more tactics. It was nominated for the Spiel for a reason, so I got to be fair about that. This is going to be a hard choice for me.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for me as well.
All right, we got to look over our criteria. So again, we have game immersion. Okay. We have art and production. Okay. Meaningful choice, ease of play, and replay value.
I got mine.
Okay, I got mine. 3, 2, 1, Luxor. Wow.
And it's just because there's a little bit more art in Luxor. There's a lot more meaningful choice in Luxor.
Yeah.
And I think the replay value as well. So you play Las Vegas once, you know how to play it the rest of the time.
Yeah, nothing's going to change. It's just a fun party game. Definitely easier and probably more replay value, but there's more actual game per game in Luxor.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, this very final round, before we get into what got voted off and what percentages they got, this final round we are taking our debate out of it. We're not doing the shot clock. We're going to talk about each different point, and we'll determine a winner from there. Daniel, what were the votes?
Dragonheart, which was eliminated by Istanbul, had 1% of the vote. And I think it's because it's a hidden gem as well. So not a lot of people know how.
Very few people know it.
However, Las Vegas, everybody knows that one. And I think it was our second best vote getter. It had 17% of the vote.
Yeah. Yep. Second best. All right. So now we have Istanbul, our number 1 seed, and Luxor, our number 4 seed. Now the dark horse.
Yeah.
But Luxor was nominated for the Spiel des Jahres.
Istanbul won the Kinderspiel.
Well, there's that too.
It not only got nominated, it won.
That is how Luxor showed up on my radar, is because of the nomination. Yeah. I had never heard of it prior to that, and I looked into it, I'm like, that's clever. I need to bring it over again. We need to play it again.
All right, is there anything here that is jumping out to you? Okay. I have 2 that jump out to me.
I think Luxor is easier to play, personally. Now,
I'm not going to disagree with you on that one.
Just because I really like the mechanism in Istanbul, but it's literally
there's a little bit more nuance.
Your left or right card, play it, and it's one of those games where it's like it's simple enough where you can learn to play it as you play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't disagree. There's a little bit more nuance on that one. I wasn't even thinking about that one, but the 2 I think personally that go out for me is Meaningful Choice is Istanbul.
Okay. Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
Because sometimes you're beholden. I have to play my left or right. If I don't want to play my left or right, oh well.
Yep.
That kind of thing.
Yep.
But so there's that. There's a little bit of arbitrary choice in there. Sure. There's a lot more depth what you're trying to do in Istanbul. Do I go this route or do I go this route? I got to also pay attention to what you guys are doing, because I'm like, if I'm trying to collect those resources, I need to set myself up to get to that location first.
Yeah.
So for me, Istanbul wins Meaningful Choice.
Okay. I agree with that. All right.
And the other one that I was thinking about is replay value.
Okay.
And just because I know for a fact there's 2 expansions in Istanbul. Length of time is scaling well. Both play pretty fairly quickly on a 4-player count.
Yeah.
And
Istanbul's a little longer, but it's not bad.
But also the minimum number of plays for the full experience is because...
I think that's tied.
That's tied, yeah, because you get the variability of the setup. So that's why... For me, I think the length of time is scaling well is Istanbul as well.
Yeah. It also has variations, too.
Yeah,
like, exactly. It has the roll and write. It has, the card game, whereas Luxor does not.
Yeah.
Which it should, but I don't know how you would do that, honestly. Okay, I agree with that. Okay, let's talk about art and production, or what's the other one we have? Game immersion?
I think Luxor gets art and production. Just because I like the art style of the game. There's no difference between Istanbul and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's a lot of browns and greens and stuff like that, so it's a bit difficult for us. If you played a game like Jaipur, their older version of it looks like the same art style as Istanbul.
Yeah. It has
Luxor,
the generic guy with a gem on the cover. And a gem trader, and then that's about it. Yeah.
Well, Luxor,
like, is that Splendor? Am I playing Luxor? Am I playing Jaipur? I don't know what I'm playing.
Luxor has that, the tiles are really cool. They randomize them. You have the animal tiles as well that are really neat. And it looks like a cobra. It looks like a lion. That kind of thing. You have the cool scarabs and stuff like that. So it's just slightly better, not better. And the other thing, too, you get meeples, not a little disc that you're putting across the board.
Right. That's true.
So that's why I said Luxor.
Yeah, but the discs have...
Hey!
The discs have stickers.
Yes. Okay. Your point being... We've knocked Agricola for that.
I just wanted to point out that the disc has stickers. They have stickers. That's
yes,
cool.
You have actually running archaeologies in Luxor.
Yeah. But there's stickers.
By the way, I hate stickers.
Yeah, I know. I could sit down and sticker meeples all day long.
Yeah, you have much smaller fingers. You have tiny hands compared to my fat fingers here.
Fair enough. So now it boils down to game immersion. Okay. Which one is more fun to lose? I think they both are.
They're both good to lose. I like Istanbul a little bit more on that aspect of it, because I still feel clever even though I lose.
Yeah, and one of the neat things about it, though, is that, unlike... Istanbul, it's very clear. Like, if somebody's way ahead, they're ahead, right? But it doesn't snowball because they still have to deal with all this stuff. But that doesn't mean that they're slowing down. The thing is with Luxor, you don't know who wins. just because somebody gets the middle and gets the tomb,
yeah,
doesn't mean that they're winning. They're getting a lot of points for it, but that doesn't mean it's
I
game
may have
over.
better collection.
Yeah, exactly. You might have collected the sets better. You might still win legitimately, and you don't know until the end of the game.
Or my people are going to score me more points based on where they're in-game scoring, because I'm not in any Horus section where it doesn't score you anything.
Right.
Whereas they may be sitting 2 meeples on a Horus collection, which gets you nothing. Right. Whereas the other meeples out there, that one's giving me 13, that one's giving me 7, that one's giving me...
the closer they are, the more points they're worth, right? Which is really great. You know, the thing is with those memorable moments... Yeah, it's kind of funny when you send the other family members to prison. That's about the only memorable moment. But most of them are pretty dry cut because you still have that same thing. You need a certain number of meeples to score some of those tiles. Like you might have to get 3 of them. And if I have 2 and you have 2, and I sneak in there first and get another meeple in there, then I snatch that out from
Or
under
you play
you
the backwards one, which allowed you to move your guy backwards.
Yeah, exactly. Like those are all that. So I have to call memorable moments a wash.
I'll call that one a wash too.
Yeah.
I think both of them have those memorable moments. Is like when I'm racing Gamehead Geek for that little thing to go sell these things to get that gem, or even the gambling part of it, which is just hilarious because he kept failing on the gamble and he was getting more and more rat.
Oh yeah, that part is fun. Okay,
he's like,
I got it. That reminded me. Yeah, I forgot about the little gambling spot. Okay, that gets memorable moments. That one's so fun. But player interaction, I think Luxor has that. Because
it has a little bit more than other than sending the prisoner to the
right, exactly,
the one family member back to prison.
Yeah,
but Luxor has it a little bit. But for me, I think it's 2 out of the 3 for Istanbul.
Yeah,
because that gambling and see how red his face was getting every time he failed, and then how happy he was when he finally won the gamble.
Yeah, all right. It's a close one. It came down to a subcategory, but that means Istanbul moves on and becomes the winner of the Rüdiger Dorn games.
It's actually my favorite Rüdiger Dorn game, so...
Man, I really do like Luxor, and I like
Las Vegas a lot, too. Oh, yeah, Dragonheart is like my sleeper pick. That's like one of my favorites.
I own all of these except for Runestones.
For a reason.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah.
Well, you still have Mercado?
Huh?
You still have Mercado?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep, still got it.
All right. With that being said, congratulations to Istanbul for being the best Rüdiger Dorn game here. The thing here, Luxor was eliminated. It had 13% of the vote, so people do love that one a lot. It was our third. In fact, we finished basically how the fan vote finished: 1, 2, and 3.
Yep.
Except for Las Vegas got knocked at 3.
Yep. Yeah, we mostly.
Oh, and by the way, Istanbul had 56% of the vote.
Yeah, 56. More than half of the voters voted for Istanbul, and it might just be because of how well known it was. But either way, it's a great time. So we hope you've enjoyed that episode. Again, congrats to Istanbul, and really congrats to everyone for now knowing some more Rüdiger Dorn games to go check out. Mm-hmm. Hopefully you've enjoyed that. So if you ever want to email us, we have an email: everydayboardgames2020@gmail.com. It would not be an Everyday Board Games episode unless I messed up something on this.
Yeah.
You can email us whether you want to enter in future contests, give us ideas for future episodes, or just reach out and say hello. We also have Instagram, instagram.com/everydayboardgames. You can check out what Daniel and I have been playing together recently, or some of the shenanigans I've been posting. And finally, Discord, brand new to us. Go follow us on Discord. Join in on the chat. We can chat with you offline whenever we're not streaming, and maybe even play some games with you. Discord description is down in the description below. Get that link there.
All video re-uploads and reviews are found on youtube.com/@everydayboardgames. And if you like what we do, there are 3 things you could do to help us grow on the platform. Subscribe if you're not. Like the video and comment down below and tell us your thoughts on the subject.
We also stream our episodes live at twitch.tv/everydayboardgames. We want to thank all of our chatters for joining in today. And again, thank you again earlier for the raid. We really do appreciate you. And make sure you follow us there so that way you can be notified when we stream our episodes live.
And all audio versions can be found on most podcast platforms under Everyday Board Games Podcast. This includes Spotify, Amazon Music, Podbean, and Apple.
So as always, I've been your host, Daniel.
And I've been your host, Daniel.
And we want to thank you for listening to Everyday Board Games.
And remember, every day is a good day for board gaming.